Kids. Yes, we are. We're late on the Peacemaker recap,
Well then.
but hey, we if you've been listening to the pod, we've been recapping the episodes of Peacemaker this season so far, and then we are just gonna, this is gonna be a little bit of episode 6, and then episode 7, talking about the finale, and then just talking about the season as a whole and what we thought about it and everything like that. And yeah, dude, do you want to pick up with episode 6?
Yeah, let's pick up with episode 6. There's a lot to digest, it's been a while, and I've been looking at it, and we'll just go off the top. So when we left off last, Myrn was finally discovered by Adebayo. She put on one of his helmets, and
X-ray vision
activated.
So yeah, Myrn's explaining himself, about what the butterflies are and where they come from and stuff.
Yeah. So it turns out, and the funniest part about that was Harcourt knew the whole time. To me, like when Harcourt's like, yeah, I know. She goes, I figured it out. She figured it out when you figured it out, actually. I remember when we saw that episode, you were like, hey, nothing fucking happened to him, like after the explosion. And then she was like, right away, that's when I figured out. And then my favorite thing is Economos' la 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 la. I know nothing. I know, like, he doesn't even want to like think about the fact that he knows that, because they're hiding all this information, obviously from Amanda Waller and
Waller,
Peter. So, and you find out this is where the other revelation comes in. Adebayo's kind of stepping into her mom's, like, she's trying to figure everything out, and she tells them she's Amanda Waller's daughter as well in this episode. So there's a lot going on in here. So Myrn kind of explains that he was kind of exiled from his clan because he's not, the butterflies didn't like him because he was too empathetic and he was too sensitive towards, he didn't want to be a part of this invasion, So that, and this kind of another part of this episode is we see a callback to that character in the first movie. I thought that was a good Peacemaker is in a classroom taking questions.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was hilarious.
I love that. He fucking crushes that. It was funny. One of them says, "Hey, do you know this lady?" He's like, "I do." He's like, "I think you might be my real dad."
I know.
Like, whoa.
And then
his dad's out of jail now. Mm-hmm. And then throughout now the past few episodes, they've been keep getting the flashbacks of that Cena killed his brother, or I think that got revealed fully. And then it's so White Dragon's out of jail now. He got released, and then the cops are all gonna go and go take out Peacemaker and in his trailer. And then they get tipped off by Myrn, but the cops are already outside and stuff, and they make the escape. And then that's when Goff breaks out. That was I thought a very cool scene too. So, this was called, I think, Myrn After Reading. So Goff's trying to communicate with them, and she draws like the peace sign. He's been keeping her, and it's so funny. Like, God, Vigilante is just, I'm telling you, if this show has an MVP, it's of this episode, it's Eagly, because we finally get to see Eagly unleashed. But MVP for the whole show, I would say, is Vigilante. Vigilante's just fucking, he's like, they're trying to communicate with Goff, the head queen butterfly, and he's like, tap one, yes or no answers only. And then Vigilante just asks, are you here to impregnate us? And then he goes, why would you, he goes, why does that, she says no, and then he goes, oh, and he goes, why does that disappoint you? And he goes, how else will I ever know what motherhood feels like? I was like, damn it. Like, James Gunn, like, I think James Gunn has written all of these. He's directed the last episode. He directed this one, yeah.
He directed this one and the last one, as well. So all the ones he tends to direct, I feel like, come out better to me as quip-wise, because, I don't know, that's just my feeling on it. But yeah, so then the Evergreen Police Department show up, and then they escape through the trailer, and they're going through the forest and the woods, and they fall. Eagly just comes out and takes out like a bunch of the cops chasing them, and then Economo. So while all this is happening, they rummage through his trailer and they find that diary that's been planted by Adebayo. But yeah, so eventually what happens is at the end, so when all this is happening, Goth is released, the queen butterfly, through the chaos, and she finds a new new human host, and the new human host that she finds is the Evergreen Police Department. So she goes at Butterfly Locke, I think it was Detective Locke.
Yeah, man, I was sad. I liked Locke. It was sad to see her like die. Like,
yeah, that was.
I was bummed out about that.
Yeah, and then so she gets taken over by the Butterfly Queen, and then she summons a whole butterfly army, and that scene was so crazy. Like when they come in, and I think the other part that was crazy is when she takes over the body and she's having those conversations with them. She goes, she really had feelings for you, and she goes, the worst part is they all smile different. I hate this. Like, you have to get used to the smiles. So after she does the takeover of the whole Evergreen Police Department, they're walking out. I forget what song's playing, but they're all smiling.
She's my favorite monster.
Yes, and the smiles, and that was just, like I said, this is a James Gunn episode. That cinematography, that music choice, and those smiles, and that was creepy.
The same time that's happening,
that was chilling.
We're also seeing what's intertwined with that is Red Dragon's getting suited up.
Yeah,
with all his, white supremacist people. They're suiting him up because he's saying, I'm gonna go do what I should have done a long time ago. I'm gonna go kill my son. Yeah. And then, and they're all coming. So, like, we got the head action coming up. And then it's like the police department, also the prisoners. The butterflies took over everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then Adebayo, she drops a little, when she's talking with her partner, she's like, let's just go. Or I think her partner says it. She goes, let's just go back to Gotham. I thought, whenever somebody mentions Gotham, I'm always going to take note of that. And then Peacemaker playing the piano.
Yeah.
It's actually John Cena playing the piano. That's one thing that I thought of. I was like, is it really him playing? Like, and James Gunn said, yeah, it was actually him playing it. And I was like, oh my God, dude, fucking Cena. You mentioned, MVP of the show or the episode or something. Cena is, I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end, but I've been just blown away by Cena throughout here.
I think the depth. Yeah. Like, nobody saw that, and we'll get into that. So the next episode takes off right.
And so this one ends with the commissioner, the guy who, filled in, who was working with Myrn, the commissioner guy. He's having the press conference, like, with the diary and saying that all the police departments are going after Peacemaker. So that's where episode 6
it leaves us right there. And then episode 7 is when it starts off right where this one opens up with Cena playing the piano. And so, he's betrayed by Adebayo, and there's a lot going on. So he says, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna just go fucking do this. I'm gonna go kill the cow on my own. So Economos actually goes with them, and obviously Vigilante Eagly. And as they're going, or was it this episode or the prior one when they show how he actually kills Keith? I can't recall.
No, this one has the flashback of it, of how his dad used to use him as pretty much like cockfighting. And then, it was just sad. It was just sad. And, he punched him, and then he had a seizure, and he died. And then, that's what's...
Yeah.
We've seen the, like kind of like the trauma behind Peacemaker. And that's just like the incredible job they've done telling the story throughout the whole season. So we actually get to see like, hey, just how he died, like the full clip of it.
Yeah, and then so on the other part, Harcourt kind of confronts Adebayo. All this is so Peacemaker and them are headed, and as they're headed there's a lot of stuff going on in this episode. They're intercepted by Augie, and Augie goes his
he can
dad,
fucking fly. I didn't know he could fly. Yeah. Dragon, I guess.
Yeah, the white dragon, and then he fucking takes down their van. And then I love how Economos has kind of just been like, everybody, like, he's just a driver. But so far, he's taken care of a giant murderous gorilla. He's fucked up the judo master. And then he just guns down a bunch of the Nazi white supremacists that came with Augie in this episode. So it's like, Economos is really, like, pretty badass too, So that Economos kind of does that. And then Peacemaker's kind of... getting his ass kicked in the beginning, but
I think Vidge gives
Vigilante.
him the assist.
Yeah, he gives him the assist, and he go. The funny part about Vidge's assist is this is why I love about how everything ties in is he talks about like the armor and how there's like breaks in the armor and stuff. He brings that up, and they actually use that. You know, he get in the episode where he went to go get the helmets. I think it was episode 4, maybe. But you know, he hits him in exactly in one of those weak spots in the armor, which he brings up in this, which he brought up in that episode. So they're having that fight, and then while this is all going on, while Adebayo's, and then Judo Master's out. By the way, he's out like eating Cheetos at a restaurant.
If Judo Master doesn't get like a Hot Cheetos commercial at the end of all of this, like I don't know what we're doing here. Like,
Right.
That'd be a perfect commercial. So yeah, Adebayo, so Judo Master fucking goes and has that fight scene with Hardcore, and then like right before that happened, Mern dies.
Oh yeah, right before, yeah. So as Adebayo's confronting Harcourt, the police department, Queen Butterfly shows up there, and she shows up there because they all have their memories. They knew where they met. That's what the butterflies do. So this is where Mern like gets them to leave, or he attempts to leave with them, but then they arrive and then they kill him. You know, and when
It was sad.
it was
Not only him, but then he crawls out, and then Goff like she grabs and kills actual butterfly. Too,
yeah, his name was Ick Nobla. Moment of silence for Ick Nobla. He was a good butterfly. And moving on, I was, come on, it was very moving, you know.
Yeah, one death to another. Cena. He has that moment where he has that standoff with Augie, and he's like, "Do it, like you can't kill me." Blah 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 blah, and he actually does it and shoots him in the head. And then again, performance right there, with the tear coming down, and God.
And what I like, and it's probably on purpose because that's how James Gunn is. He shoots him with a Luger, and Lugers are Germany issued guns to the Nazis during World War II. So I don't know if that's like. I'm pretty sure that's what it's, because the whole he has other guns, but in this, when he kills him, that's what he kills him with, kind of.
Yeah. And it's funny because his face is all scratched up, but that's not from the battle or anything. That's from a fucking raccoon.
Oh, that's another James Gunn. You see, I think that's kind of like a Rocket Raccoon thing. They're chasing a raccoon around. I'm telling you, this show's been way better than I expected it to be. It's way. Like
the depth, man.
The depth. This show's fucking awesome. And so Eagly gets hurt in all of this. So then they end up showing up. They go up to a veterinary clinic. So this is where you see that moment. Adebayo's kind of considering. Oh, before Adebayo and Harcourt take down the Judo Master together. That was a pretty neat fight scene too. So they have that moment. And then here, Adebayo's, like you said, she's mentioned going back to Gotham. She doesn't know if she wants to see this. And then she sees Chris praying, And as he's praying, he's just sitting down, and he goes, the only best friends I've ever had were Keith and Eagly, Ouch to Vigilante, by the way. But, and Eagly, Eagly comes back to Eagly is alive still, and then he hugs him, and you get that eagle hug, and then Adebayo's like, I'm fucking staying, and Harcourt's like, what changed your mind? She goes, I believe in mirror. Like, I saw Eagle hug a fucking human being, and I think that's like a sign from God, I think, or something like that. And she goes, I have to stay because that. And then so the other part,
funny. It was, sorry to cut you off, but it was funny when like they show up there, and then Vigilante has the vet and their team like at gunpoint because he's like, they know what we look like, we gotta kill them, and they're like, no, you don't gotta kill him, like just fucking tie him up, and he's like, all right, just make sure you don't use duct tape then. and then he takes a dig, which I took personal. And then he says something about like, it must be hard waking up as a male nurse every day. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, I know. What? So,
and from there they decide
veterinary. They were ready to. So they decide that they're gonna go do this one last thing and kill that cow. And then, but the funny part, he takes
as the new
leader. So that's what. Oh yeah, that's where. When you see that scene earlier with the Mern butterfly dying. is he kind of like taps. That's what made it like he taps hardcore, like he puts his hand up to her, kind of like a passing of a torch, because they tell her she's now going to be leading them. And the other funny thing about that veterinarian scene was when they're like, let's go do this. Like one of the veterinarians just like cocks a gun and she goes, let's go. And he goes, no, you guys are not going with us. And then at the end of this episode, like the cow is fucking hideous.
Yeah,
I did not expect that.
How my wife described the cow, she said, it looks like a penis with tarantula eyes. Like a wrinkly old man's penis with tarantula eyes, as that's how she described it. I was like, okay, not gonna be able to unsee that. But
all right, and on that note, episode eight,
the season finale.
Wow. Okay. So here we are, one last van ride together with everybody, and Adebayo contacts Waller, and I like how Myrn calls her mom. Too, and she's like, can you send the Justice League or something, because there's not enough time, and this and that. And then they have the van ride too, where the cow is being housed, and I think this van ride's a little different from all the other ones. You saw them connecting on the last van ride that they had together, coming back. This one, everybody's just sitting there, solemn, like everybody's quiet, everybody's kind of, this is Myrn's dead, this is it, like this is their one chance, otherwise they're gonna otherwise they're gonna teleport the cow. That's why Adebayo's asking for like the Justice League and stuff. So when they get there, I feel like they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do. They bring his helmets and they use the sonic boom helmet to kind of disrupt.
They were originally thinking like, hey, he's got this teleportation one or activate levitation or whatever, and they're like, we could levitate over there, drop off the sonic boom. It's got like 3 charges that should take him out. And then fucking Adebayo's dumbass says like activate like levitation, and it just floats off. And they're like, hey, he's like, I'm gonna tell Eagly to go drop it off. And then he explains it. Eagly just flies right over and just go drops it in the woods somewhere. And then then they gotta go look for that. And then he sees his dad in the woods. He does.
That was like a crazy scene. I think he's still like telling he's still like in his head, like he's still in his head even after he thinks he got over everything and did all that, but so he has to kind of
then they ultimately
regroup.
Yeah, they find the helmet, and then they have to send John in undercover as like one of the like cops, like pretending to be a butterfly to go drop it off in there. And then I just fucking James Gunn, man, right here. We've had the whole dye beard jokes. This guy dyes his beard. We've had those jokes throughout. And then, like, how you could take a joke like that and make it fucking pay off with, like, an emotional thing like that where, like, he's walking away and then one of the, the butterfly, the other cop guy goes, hey, why did that guy dye his beard like that? And he gives this whole, like, explanation of, like, he was lazy, and then, like, he thought people wouldn't notice, and he was single, and then it's just like, it was just like, we're gonna take a joke and have it like a kind of like a serious payoff like that. It's just, that's storytelling, man.
This has been and this is also an episode that was directed and written by James Gunn, so it's perfect. And then he gets the supersonic helmet in there, and it does take down the base, but it doesn't kill the cow.
Yeah, Adebayo's dumbass dropped the fucking walkie-talkie a couple times, and I was just like, really? And then the scene with like Peacemaker, Harcourt, and Vigilante walking out there against all the butterflies was badass. He has a fucking shield now, and
they're just gunning everybody down. It was an amazing scene, And then when Butterfly's song like sees Smith, when she sees Chris, she's like explains that she's protecting the planet from humans, and that the human, like, that's her whole thing, like they came from a planet that was destroyed, and she sees like the same destruction, that when she drew the peace sign on the jar, that's what it was, and she actually wants him to help her and lead them, and then Adebayo's there, and she has like Adebayo has the human torpedo helmet, and then he launches her into the cow. Thought that was
Did you
fucking
think he was
epic.
gonna like agree with them and help them?
I think when I was like, oh shit, yeah. I kind of like for a moment I didn't know because he's been betrayed by Adebayo. He's seeing his dad, who's still like calling him a pussy, essentially. He's like, fuck it, like, and then he, for a minute,
Cause she tells him like, hey, like Goff tells him like, hey, we took kind of the same oath you did for peace.
yeah,
and
for peace.
and and then like I remember like when I was watching, I was like, it makes sense, but I really hope he doesn't, because like they're essentially taking away free will from people for the sake of humanity, and it was good that he didn't, and activate human torpedo, boom, and then he shoots her, and then they get out of there, and it was like during the action, before Adebayo ran in there, Harcourt gets shot, she goes down, Vidge goes down, John's incompetent ass just snaps his leg like trying to run out there, and just like trips on the fence, and then ultimately him and Adebayo.
I was when Harcourt she was about to get like butter. I was like, no, that was. But then I think Adebayo grabs the butterfly.
Yeah,
right before she's about to do it, I was like, oh, thank God.
And then they have them. Like again, I'm glad he didn't join. And then they kill the cow, and it's not like something like, hey, all the butterflies are just gonna immediately fall down and die from there. It's like they're all gonna eventually die because their food source ran out, but they still do probably have a lot of food source around, but they're ultimately gonna die. And when the
Justice League does show up.
Yeah, so I didn't. I was very surprised. I honestly, I saw fucking on Twitter. I saw a spoiler for it on Twitter. I saw like a screenshot of.
I didn't. So I honestly was when I was like, oh fuck, and then I was a little let go because the best member of the Justice League wasn't there.
Yeah, and then that's where he says it. He's like, you're late, you dickheads. Go fuck another fish, asshole. And then fucking Jason Momoa's Aquaman. I'm so fucking sick of that rumor. And then Ezra Miller, and Jason Momoa actually fucking made the cameos. And then Barry says it's not a rumor, and he goes, "Fuck you, Barry." And
to hear Aquaman say "fuck you, Barry," thank you, James Gunn.
Yeah, and then after that, like it was all circulating around fucking social media of like, oh, expectations into the full Justice League with Batman and Cyborg, and reality. And it's like, you didn't have any fucking expectations that the Justice League was gonna show up. Get the fuck out of here. And then and then they actually did have a guy that stood in for Batman, and I think they had Cyborg too, but they just decided not to have him in there because the girl that played Wonder Woman, she posted it on Instagram how it was like a dream come true. So did the guy that stood in for Superman. They did that too. But then so there was a Batman stand-in originally, and then Cyborg as well. But I think they just decided. I don't know. I'm sure it was something to do with WB telling them not to or whatever like that. Because we're still kind of in flux with what's happening with Ben
part of
Affleck's
me feels
Batman.
like it might be the reason that they might have not gone with Batman is perhaps more is meant to be revealed with what route they're going to go when Ezra Miller's Flash comes out. Yeah. So it could be that. But either, like, come on,
it was a fun little cameo.
It was, exactly. That's fucking people learn how to, like, killjoy everything. Yeah. And so when this goes back, everybody's kind of going at Economos goes back to working for Waller, and I think you see Harcourt's, like, rehabbing with the help of Peacemaker Chris. And then at the end, I thought that was the perfect opening. He's sitting there on his trailer, and then he has his dad. He's finally, like, made his... compared to that old vision of how his dad's like, he has another vision with his dad. This time his dad's having a beer with him, sitting there. But then you see the Goff butterfly, and he's like pouring out the last, what could be the last of the their food source. And I thought that was like the perfect ending to the show. I really hope there's gonna be more Peacemaker because now I'm like,
it got announced. It got announced before season 8 finale dropped. James Gunn tweeted it out that. Season 2 is happening for sure.
Yes.
And then, so, and Adebayo does a press conference outing what Task Force X is.
That's good. And
Amanda Waller.
Waller's face. She's like, what the fuck?
and she clears Vidge and Chris, you know, so that was cool. Like you said, it was the perfect ending, man. This was fucking pound for pound one of the best season ones or just a season of a comic book show that we've had, man. Like it's
And
hard.
A live action DC show. This is like there's nothing. I'm sorry. I think Flash when it was beginning, Flash was good, but no, nothing.
The first couple seasons of Arrow were really good, especially when the whole Deathstroke thing was happening.
Yeah.
But it fell off
This
hard.
is-
Flash was never this level.
Yeah.
And then even, I know we love the Marvel shows,
Yeah.
but just the style, the storytelling, the characters. My wife would never let me skip the intro, like because the intro is so iconic. Like, and just I think from top to bottom, this was just. And then, like, the performances. Like, you care about all these characters. Fucking how Freddie Storma, who crushes it as Vigilante. John Cena fucking crushes as Peacemaker, dude. And then, we saw him in Suicide Squad. And then I was just like, this guy's getting his own show? Like, what's happening here? And just to see this.
His character depth in this film to, like you said, that ending, how it's summarized, how he's, like, everything. Like, John Cena, I think, blew away everybody to kind of show what he's capable as an actor. Because
go ahead.
The range was just he's being funny, he's emotional, like he's being a dick. Like this was kind of like, I would say, I've seen The Rock do a lot of stuff, right?
I was just gonna go there. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead.
No, like that's the natural comp. Like I was, my wife told me, she's like, I could never see The Rock doing any like the range that Cena had in this. And then I think that's what, go finish your thought on that. Like on The Rock, like I think it's a natural.
That's
comparison.
what I was gonna say. There's a lot of because wrestling's entertainment. There's been a lot of wrestlers turn actors, and the best one that everybody thinks of is Dwayne The Rock Johnson, because Dwayne has. Like, Dwayne's good at a lot of stuff. He sells tequila. He was in a rap song recently, and he's in every movie that's about a forest. And,
that's your thing, man.
The Rock's fucking, I get it. I like The Rock. But The Rock's, that's his big thing. Action. This is who he is. He's tried other stuff, But I just felt like range-wise, I think John Cena, and especially for being so, he's had a few things come out. He's had the Marine movie,
Legendary.
But this is one movie. Yeah, but this is one of his first big projects. Working with somebody like James Gunn, stuff like that. And yeah, I would say acting wise, he took the
James Gunn did a similar thing with Batista.
Mm-hmm. But even with Batista, I still feel like John Cena. If I were to rank the three wrestlers turned like actors, I would say John Cena took it by a mile just with this one show. By the variety of range he showed in his emotions and just character growth from episode 1 through episode 8.
I'm excited to see him do Peacemaker more, because this was, what is it, like a C or like a D level superhero in the MCU? Like, you see like the Holy Trinity and everybody like that, and then the fact that they took this very low level character and just blew him up, and even pop culture wise, dude, I think this show was huge. I think the finale was the highest streamed series on HBO Max. They have Euphoria. They have a bunch of other shows on there. And
so since James Gunn's going to be jumping around, he's going to be Marvel stuff. Can you imagine a Deadpool film helmed by James Gunn?
Dude.
Come on, Marvel.
I think he said that after he's done with Guardians 3. He's actively filming Guardians 3 right now. After he's done with that, he's going to continue to... So, season 2, Jess, you mentioned this, that you said you liked the episodes he directed. Season 2, he's writing it. He wrote the first show. He's kind of like the Jon Favreau of this. But season 2, he's directing every single episode as well. So you got that there. And then, again, just the performances by everybody. Go ahead.
Another Easter egg, they said, because he's thrown a lot of Easter eggs in here throughout the whole, he he brought up, like, that's why at the end the fish stuff, like, that's what makes him so good. He's actually that. This is how you make a connected universe. You know, it's finally nice to see DC able to do that in one of their, because everything else has been standalone. And so they brought up Batmite. This was a nice little Easter egg. People were saying that little boy asked in the class, asked him a question where he says, "Where's your camaraderie of superheroes or whatever?" Right? But it's the same question that's asked to him by the neighbor, the old man. So Batmite can turn into whoever, whatever. So that's been one of the things they're like. And when he asks that question, there's something else in the room, I think, that like alludes to Batmite. So it says something neighbor. So people are saying that people might just be looking extra into stuff. But that's the other thing I like about James Gunn is, if you're going to universe build, this is the perfect guy. Just in this show, he just linked your universe to your big franchises. He brought up a bunch of other DCU characters. And like you said, this was a D-level character who he has now made a star of freaking DC. So if there's anybody who who you're going to use, who's going to be your, how you say, Kevin Feige, it's probably going to be James Gunn for them.
For DC? Like. Hey, that'd be dope, man. Kevin Feige, James Favreau, like what he's done with Star Wars now. I would fucking love it, dude. Because, I like what DC's doing now. We got Peacemaker. We got Batman coming out here shortly. I want to go away from the Snyderverse stuff. We have Aquaman 2 coming out. We have The Flash coming out. That's going to be wild. You don't want to
restore the universe?
No, man. Hey, congrats, guys. You did it. We got the Zack Snyder Justice League, but I want to see this, like what's happening here. I'd much rather see this, because if this was under Zack Snyder, I'm just, and you know, those were some of the people that were like, oh, expectations, realities. Like nobody expected the Justice League or any of them to show up. Like, and I think a cool little tidbit is Ezra Miller's cameo was actually shot like by Marvel, like because I think he did it while he was shooting Guardians 3. So like, you know, that's how they put him in there. But yeah, man, exciting stuff. What do you think that we've had 2 Superman cameos and they haven't been by Henry Cavill? End of Shazam, remember, where he shows up in the cafeteria, and then also this.
I think Henry Cavill. I think anybody. That's my thing. I think anybody that they didn't really show that, you know, that's because we don't know what their future is going to be in the DCU. And if Superman is recast, Henry Cavill doesn't do it, is there anybody you see that you right off the top?
I wouldn't have said Henry Cavill, so I honestly don't know. But you know, I hope he does, because he does a good job. But I think like we don't need to necessarily be cornered into the.
The Rock walks into the no, you're already Shazam, Rock. Get the hell out.
Black Adam. Yeah.
I can do both.
I can do both. I can do them all. But hey, man, we loved this show. I think that's fair to say. Fucking absolutely loved it. Like I used to wait until the night it dropped, like after midnight, and I would watch it right away. Like I haven't done that with a show in a long time. If I were to rate this, Jess, 9.5 out of 10.
Dude, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
I really like this show.
There you go.
This was first time in DC, because that was my biggest thing. I would say DC makes animated movies so well. Like, why can't they do in a property like there's far and few betweens. Like, why can't they just get like a show like or a movie like consistently? You know, you make one good show and then there's level of drop off in the same franchise and stuff like that. But this, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Hey, you heard it here first, guys. And, exciting things to come. Our Batman review, whenever that's going to be coming out in, I think, like a week now. So as soon as it drops, you know, we're gonna go watch that. You could tell Jess is a little excited. But thank you guys for listening. Miles Bar Podcast, anywhere. You already have the fucking poster up. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. But Miles Bar Podcast, anywhere where podcasts are found, Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. And then YouTube, Miles Apart Productions. Follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube, and check out the YouTube videos, man. It's gonna be more of these breakdown videos on there, movie reviews and stuff. Sometimes there's just gonna be like one of us doing it. Most of the time, when it's something like this, it's gonna be the both of us. But
and if you like it, hit a like button wherever it's here somewhere. Share, subscribe, share us with your friends, because We want to make quality content for you guys.
Yep. And then comment down below what you thought about Peacemaker and who else in the Suicide Squad you would like to see a spin-off series for, because that's also rumored as well. Not only are we getting a Peacemaker 2, but also another character from James Gunn's Suicide Squad may be getting a show as well. Until next time, this is Jess and Guggen signing off. Bye-bye.